Today I'm going to show you how to represent functions as equations, tables, and graphs. So a function rule is an equation that describes the relationship between the inputs. Remember, your inputs are your x values, and it's the independent variable. And our outputs are the y values, or is our dependent variable. The output depends on the x value. So what you put in, you will get out. So in the example on the function machine, y equals 3x, if you put in a -2, you have y equals 3 times -2, and your output would equal -6. So write an equation that describes the function. So you need to find the relationship between the x and the y values. So in this case, I see 0, 0, 1, 10, 2 goes to 20, and 3 goes to 30. So 3 times 10 is 30, 2 times 10 is 20, 1 times 10 is 10, and 0 times 10 is 0. So now we need to write the rule. So let's try y equals 10x. So let's see if that works. So y equals 10 times 0 is 0. 10 times 1 is 1. So you just keep trying them. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 3 is 30. That's our equation. Y equals 10x. Next one is a little bit trickier. So let's find the relationship between the two. Well, how to get from 1 to 17? So that's plus 16. 2 plus 16 is 18. 3 plus 16 is 19. And 4 plus 16 is 20. So we're going to do something plus 16. So I need a y value and I need my x value. So y equals, let's try x plus 16. So if I put a 1 in for x, 1 plus 16 is 17. Perfect. 2 plus 16 is 18. 3 plus 16 is 19, and so on. So that is the rule or the equation for that input-output table. So write a function rule for the output is 5 less than the input. So the output is always your y value, and the input is your x value. So y equals 5 less than the input. So the input is x. So we're going to take 5 less than that. So y equals x minus 5. Write a function rule for the output is the square of the input. So the output is our y, and our input is our x. So y equals the square of a number is x squared. What is the value of y equals 2x plus 5 when x equals 3? So we're just going to substitute in a 3 for the x. So y equals 2 times 3 plus 5. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 5 equals y. So y equals 11. Okay, so you can see that we have, here's an equation, y equals x plus 2. And we did this beginning of the year where we made a table, an x and y table. And we chose whatever we wanted for our inputs, and we plugged it in to get our output. So if we put a 1 in, 1 plus 2 is 3. If we put a 2 in, 2 plus 2 is 4. We put a 3 in, 3 plus 2 is 5, and then we would graph those ordered pairs. The second way we can graph x plus y equals x plus 2, think of slope-intercept form. So we start at 2 on the y-intercept, and then we go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, and we have the same line. So it's two different ways that you can graph these functions. So graph the function of y equals -2x plus 1. So we can make, they want us to use the inputs of -1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's make our x and y table. And they want us to use -1, 0, 1, and 2. And then I just graph it. So if I put a negative 1 in, so negative 2 times negative 1 plus 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. If I put a 0 in, negative 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1. If I put a 1 in, negative 2 times 1 plus 1. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 1. I'm sorry, negative 2. And then plus 1 is negative 1. I'm a little ahead of myself. And then if you put a 2 in, you're going to get negative 3. And then you would just graph those points. Or we can start at 1 on the y-intercept, down 2, right 1, because a negative 2 slope is negative 2 over 1, or positive 2 over negative 1. So I can go down 2, right 1 for my next point, down 2, right 1, or I can go up 2, left 1. I'm still on my same point. So y equals x plus 1. It's your choice. The question is just going to ask you to graph the function. So if you need to make an x and y table, you could do that, or you can just graph it. So if we're just going to graph it, I'm going to start at 1 on my y-intercept, and my slope is x, so my slope is 1 over 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, and I see my line forming. Okay, or you can make your x and y input-output table, and let's say I just pick 0 and 1. So if I put a 0 in, 0 plus 1 is 1. If I put a 1 in, 1 plus 1 is 2. And look, I already have those 2 points graphed. Y equals negative 3x. So there's no y-intercept, so we start at 0, 0. And my slope is negative 3 over 1, or 3 over negative 1. So I can go up 3, left 1, 1, 2, 3, left 1, or I can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1, and I'm still on my same line. Once again, or you can make your input-output table. So if you put a 0 in, you're going to get 0 out. If I put a 1 in, you get negative 3. And you can see I have those 2 points plotted. The number of P, which is representing pounds of carbon dioxide produced by a car, is 20 times the number of gallons, G, of gasoline used by the car. Write and graph a function that describes the relationship between G and P. Okay, so the number of pounds of carbon dioxide produced is 20 times the number of gallons. So there is my equation. I can make a little input-output table. This time our input is going to be G and our output is going to be P. So if I use a 1, if I use 1 gallon, the output is going to be 20. If I put a 2, my output is going to be 40. If I use a 3, my output is going to be 60. And then we can graph that. So if I go over 1, I can go by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So go over 1 up to 20. Go over 2 up to 40, and go over 3 up to 60, so you can see my line. I hope this helps you understand the relationship between equations, function tables, and graphs. Have a great day.